And good evening, folks. Welcome back to UndercoverET. I hope you're all doing really well. Guys, I had an amazing day with my family on Friday. I drove my brother and my mum to Windsor and we celebrated my dad's 2 years passing. We did lose him in January 2024, and so we wanted to remember him by going to his birthplace and just, go over the good times and the bad. And he's really inspired me actually to do this video today, and I'll let you guys know what it's all about, and I'll also share a part of my story as well, just the beginning part, because it all ties into what I'm about to show you. Crazy stuff. I know it's been a few days. I feel like I haven't done this for a while, but I'm back, guys. I'm back. I'm going to do a video a day hopefully next week, and I've got a lot to go over. We do need your support, so please like and subscribe. If that is free to do, we're now in January. I can't wait for this year. As soon as it warms up, crop circle season starts. I'm also planning to go to LA to visit Doc as well, to research his area. Maybe we can find something out that he doesn't already know, I cannot wait. And guys, to top all that off, merchandise is on its way. Or at least I'm in the design process, okay? I've got a few designs. I've been so busy the last few days that I've sidelined it. This weekend, I'm back on looking at what's going on. I'm quite happy with the design that I've made. I just want to do a few t-shirts to see what the print work looks like. Guys, if you've got any ideas, drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. But yeah, with that said, I want to just quickly share my story with you, at least the short story, okay, the first part, because this is going to lead right into what I'm going to show you today, okay? So back in January 2024, I did lose my old man, okay? He had a heart attack, passed away on the operation table 5 weeks later in Bristol, okay? So that's what happened to me old man. Why am I mentioning this to you? Because the day that he passed, my auntie in Philadelphia, USA, calls my mum in Wiltshire, England, and says something's happening to Bob, or something's happened to Bob, and she was adamant that my mum was keeping a secret from her. Fun fact, right? This is what she did. She called my mum and she said, "Look, what's going on with Bob, my dad?" And my mum basically said, "He's fine, he's cutting the lawn. What are you talking about?" And so they left it at that, and then later on that evening he had a heart attack. Okay, 5 weeks in hospital. He was allowed back home for Christmas Day, but 5 weeks in hospital, and then he passed away on the operation table. So I got told this after it all happened. I got told about my auntie and what she had said and what she thought had happened, and it hadn't happened yet, right? But it was due, and it did. And so, normally when you lose someone close to you, you ask these hard questions, right? Naturally, I wonder if they're okay. I wonder where they've gone, where their consciousness has gone. So you ask a lot of natural questions. What happens after death? But for me, the supernatural shit happened before my dad passed. For my family, the supernatural thing, the thing that we've never seen or experienced before, happened before my dad had passed. I couldn't understand how my auntie in Philadelphia would know that, given my mum's in the UK and my dad. And even if she was in the UK, how would she know something's going to happen to my dad without being a professional examiner, right? This is the mindset we have. So obviously I went down this rabbit hole of NDEs, what happens to everyone, UFO research. I was watching Jack anyway at the time. I think he had about 2.5k subscribers, and I was watching Jack weekly, just trying to keep up to date with everything, because I'm a believer, man, right? But I've just lost my dad in these crazy circumstances. And so I start researching. Long story short, I make a channel, boom, here I am, right? Why am I telling you all this? Because I do believe that life exists before life and after life. Life as we know it in these bodies, absolutely. Is there life before us or before our bodies? Yeah, there is. I believe that. And so when I say I lost my dad's physical. Well, I think he's around for disclosure, baby. That's just the way I feel, right? And I feel like everyone who's lost someone hasn't actually lost them. That's just the way perceive what's going on. Okay, now what evidence do we have? This is the important thing for me. What evidence do we have of people maybe going over to another body, another living thing? What they reincarnate, but back to another human, right? What evidence do we have of this? Well, I do believe what I'm about to show you is evidence of this. And look, pre-warning, medical professionals, scientists will stick a name on anything they don't understand. And they'll stick a name on everything they do understand. And they'll tweak the name based on the more understanding they gain from that particular thing, right? So UFOs, same deal. We now call them UAP because they realise they're transmedium. They had to switch the name up. And also they're not flying with the normal propulsion systems that we know. So they switched the name. Likely they've done that for a very good reason. Probably because the aliens are like, stop calling them UFOs and stop calling us aliens. We're not aliens, you know? Apologies. But that's this is what they're trying to change, right? Non-human intelligence. That's where we should be going. It's right. It's right. It's like turning up to Earth and saying, look at these freaks. Well, we wouldn't want to be called freaks. We'd want to be called humans, you know? So yeah, look, that's just one thing. But without going too far off, evidence that we are potentially living a second, third, fourth, fifth life is there. You just need to know where to look, guys. And there are a group of people out there that have gone through medical problems, undergone operations, life-threatening operations, just like my dad. And not only have they gone through near-death experiences, but they've also gone through some transformations that you can actually hear. What I'm saying is, guys, people are starting to wake up in some special cases with a different accent entirely. As in, they've never been to Italy and they are talking like they could speak fluent Italian. Now, I know a little something about this, right? Because my dad was part Italian, had never been. Okay, and my auntie, she was full on Italian. She could barely speak English. And when she did, you knew she had an Italian accent, okay? These people are evidence of life before and after life, guys. I'm 100% certain on that. My auntie is proof that some pretty amazing stuff can happen whilst you're alive as well. And these people are also proof of it. We're going to talk about it more, but before we do, we should really listen to what they've got to say. Like and subscribe. As always, we do need your support the public's evidence, and this is included support disclosure. Let's go. All right, guys, so we're going to start off with this lady. She lived or lives in London, okay? Proper Londoner accent through and through. I've met many black families that sound just like this. Lovely people, and yet she's had a procedure. She's woke up with an Italian accent. Check this out.
But now I have this accent. I am British. Where did I get this accent from? I have no idea. Where is it from? I said to them, what's happened to me? Nobody can tell me what's happened to me. It's so strange. It blows my mind. And it sounds Italian. But I've never been to Italy. I have no Italian friends. I never learned the language. All of a sudden, I speak with this way. And I'm moving my hands like this. I don't know why it is. And so I just wake up one morning with all of my language. No, my language, my vocabulary. It's come back to me. But with the accent. Can you believe it? It is blowing my mind.
She sounds like my auntie, right? I've seen clips of her on the... In fact, I'm going to pull it up. You're not going to believe this, guys. Okay, so this is the lady before her stroke.
Hope everybody's okay. Pauline, boy. This is my girl, man. I'm the young one, just saying.
You see? You see what I mean? Let's just play her talking Italian again.
I am British. Where did I get this accent from? I have no idea. Where is it from? I said to them, what's happened to me? Nobody can tell me what's happened to me. It's so strange. It blows my mind.
Look, I'm not great at accents. I can tell you now, that is incredibly difficult to nail an accent, having never been to Italy and never practiced, okay? And this is a real thing, guys. Now, doctors have said this is just a condition, a very rare condition, okay? They put a name on it and basically that's it. But the cases go back years, guys, go back years. And funnily, and the thing we should note here is majority of them are women. There are men as well. I'm going to show you one in a minute that starts speaking Swedish. US military veteran who wakes up and starts speaking Swedish, guys. Crazy stuff. Let's watch another one. All right, so this poor lady in Jamaica was in a car accident, okay? So the first lady had a stroke, and apparently the reason why she had a stroke, she had like a growth on the back, around the back of her ear. So it wasn't quite brain surgery, okay? It was a stroke caused by something that was going through the back of her ear, but she woke up with that Italian accent, okay? So this lady, she lives in Jamaica. She was in a car accident, and the car, you know, in the accident, unfortunately, she lost someone as well. Someone passed away, and you can see she's had damage to her eye already just from this interview. It's a really serious accident. Her eye was actually hanging out, and they just had to clean it up, put it back in, and sew up what they could, and try and get this, you know, try and repair what they could. But obviously you're not going to repair something that bad, okay? So she had a really bad accident, and she did undergo brain surgery as well. But this time she's gone from a Jamaican accent to a full-on British accent, guys. Check it out.
And I don't think a lot of people can deal with the new me. So that's something I'm also trying to get past. So I have foreign accent syndrome. It's caused by head trauma, or it can cause by, say for instance, if you had surgery and you had to do any surgery on your brain. So in my case, I have foreign accent syndrome because of the head trauma. And what that does is that it shifts your brain waves, and it's something that is not treatable at the moment. So unless God has other plans for me, I'm going to be British for the rest of my life.
That's insane. Jamaican accent, and now she's just got to accept the fact she's got a British accent. That's crazy. I haven't got a clip of her talking in Jamaican, but I've got, you know, you can research this, guys. She's got family that talk about this. It's insane, and she's one of many people that are going through this crazy stuff. So guys, the doctors have said that she's got foreign accent syndrome, okay? So they've put a label on it, but they can't explain how it was caused. Therefore, they're just making shit up. That's literally it. They don't know how it was caused, and this has been caused various different ways, whether it be brain surgery, neck surgery. Some people just have a stroke and wake up and they're, boom, changed, right? So they don't know what causes this exactly. If they did, they would be changing people's accents left, right and centre and probably charging people for the pleasure, right? Just like plastic surgery. Imagine if you wanted to have a Mandarin accent and have and just suddenly speak Latin or something. And they could just go, yeah, sure, come in, we'll plug you in, change this about you, and all, next thing you know, you're talking flipping Italian, right? That's probably possible. But they just don't know and understand how that could be possible, right? I guess the only way it would be possible, right, is if somehow, somewhere inside of you, that data is available, okay? Now, there's talk and speculation that if you could access X amount of your brain, you could access everything you've ever heard. Everything you've ever heard. Now, does that mean you would be able to speak multiple languages? You would probably at least be able to speak part of multiple languages, because you would have heard multiple languages. Even if you only just heard them in the distance, you would have heard them. If you could access that memory and keep it there and access that memory whenever you liked, you could understand that sentence every day of your life, right? Until you heard a new one. So there's that theory behind it. But what these people are showing, specifically the Italian woman, she's talking with her hands, something she never did. It's something actually I do, because I have a bit of Italian blood in me, right? And 20 years sales experience. So you'll notice in my videos, I do this quite a lot, like Donald Trump. It's actually quite a good attribute to have. And this lady said that she never used to do that. She never used to have the accent. And actually it's made her more confident. She feels like she's been not revamped, but she feels like she's lost something in her own accent and expression and gained something in replacement of. And the only way she can do that without visiting Italy is what? Is by having the information deep down inside her that exists there. How? How does it exist there, guys? Ties in with Courtney Brown's theory. Oh, it's not a theory, that's what he's saying is. It's a theory to us. To him, it's like, no, this is what we were told is happening. And it's slowly getting backed up here. Slowly it's getting backed up. Let's keep going. All right, guys, this next one is incredible. This lady is from the south of England, and she's woke up with a Chinese accent. Check this out.
I live in Plymouth, born and bred here in Plymouth. About 5 years ago now, I had a stroke-like event. There's still some question as to whether it was a severe migraine or an actual stroke event, but whatever it was have changed my brain activity. So the motor skills and communication part of brain do not function very well anymore. This at the time was very confusing, but actually had a lot of help, a lot of support from neurologists for migraines, and it was hoped that my speech could be improved. But I think over the years have come to terms with the fact that this probably is as good as it will get, which I'm happy with because I can communicate, I can make a sentence. Unfortunately, over the last probably few years, things have got worse. Neurologists have tried many treatments but cannot get anywhere. So I'm hoping, like this year, I think I've stabilized. So I'm hoping this is as bad as I will get now. And that is not in terms of the speech, because the speech is better. But in terms of the other neurological problem, like I will get temperature sensitivity, attacks of paralysis, occasional mini stroke, very severe migraine, probably 5 times a week, 4 or 5 times a week. And each one I recover from well back to where I am now. So I'm hoping that I just need to deal with how things are now.
This must be incredibly difficult for these individuals. I did notice when she was talking there, because one doctor in particular just said, well, she's just putting an A or something at the end of every word and therefore it sounds like an accent when actually it's a speech impediment. She's not. She really isn't. She's actually leaving out words like a Chinese person would. So she's not just saying each word with an A or something at the end of it to make it sound like she's Chinese. She's actually leaving out words as well. That is something that naturally happens with the Asian population when they're trying to talk English. You know, it must have such an impact on their lives. But also, if it doesn't happen, we have nothing to go on. So yeah, this is part of it, guys. I do believe it is. We're going to keep going.
She grew up in Australia, but
my accent sounds like it's from the southern part of Ireland.
The 27-year-old developed the foreign accent overnight. This is what she used to sound like.
Just calling to cancel my membership, and I was just wondering for the monthly payments that I've paid.
Now,
I can't shake it. I just did a job interview in an Irish accent when I've never been to Ireland.
In April, the dentist underwent a 30-minute procedure to have her tonsils removed. 10 days later, she sounded Irish.
I usually sing when I'm showering and listening to songs, and all of a sudden I was talking in an Irish accent.
The condition is called foreign accent syndrome.
Normally there's a trauma or a stroke or something that happens to the brain for this to actually result.
But Angie's case is unheard of.
Nobody that's had a tonsillectomy or the tonsils removed has had this, so it's extremely rare.
So there you have it, guys. It's not known to happen with someone just having their tonsils removed, right? But if you remember back to the Italian lady, what I told you was she had a neck operation as well to remove something that caused a stroke. Okay, so yes, it happens to stroke victims, but it also happens to people with just random stuff that happens, you know, random illness. Definitely something from the neck up is causing this, guys. But like you just heard from this health professional, right, not a foggiest what actually causes this. There's nothing tangible they can go, yep, it's this nerve that does this, that causes this. And even if they found that out, where's the data coming from for someone to speak a different language or a different accent, right? We're going to get onto the different language now because it's all been about the ladies and what they've gone through, and they've all had accent changes. Well, this next one's a gentleman over in the USA, ex-military, and he starts speaking Swedish, guys. But I do believe he went and stayed in Sweden for some time as well. I don't think he learnt the language there, but he bloody well did when he woke up this time round. Let's have a look.
Medical mystery out of Palm Springs. Navy veteran wakes up one morning speaking only Swedish. No memory of his past. Doctors have been trying to figure out exactly what's behind the transformation, and ABC's Rob Nelson has all the details.
Inte vet någonting om This is 61-year-old Johan Ek from Sweden, at least he thinks he is. His name is actually Michael Boatwright, an American Navy vet. In February, Boatwright woke up in this California emergency room in a Nordic state of mind, only speaking Swedish, unable to recognize his own face or even his son. Visibly emotional, he spoke to the desert sun through a translator.
That's the name I knew that I had, Johan Ek.
Police say Boatwright was found unconscious in this Palm Springs Motel 6, along with 4 forms of identification and a cell phone.
The cell phone that contained several phone numbers, all of which were phone numbers from the country of China.
Records show Boatwright may be a graphic designer who taught English in Asia and apparently lived in Sweden for part of his life. After several weeks of tests, doctors diagnosed Boatwright with the neurological phenomenon transient global amnesia.
So they called this guy's global transient amnesia because not only did he start speaking a different language, he didn't even recognize the person he was looking at, guys. He thought he was someone else. That's crazy. That's crazy stuff. And so where I thought when I started looking into this, that this was happening unto a lot of women and no men, there are men out there that are going through something similar. And yeah, he woke up in an apartment, obviously had an accident or a seizure or something happened to him, and he woke up, thought he was a man from Sweden, right? So crazy stuff. When I say that he thought he was a man from Sweden, he really believed he was. And that doesn't mean that he wasn't. It just means that maybe there's a crossover of energy, or he's tapped into a past life somehow by mistake, and he ain't got a clue what the hell is going on, guys. It's flipping weird, but it's true. There's so many cases. I'm going to show you one more case now, and this is a little bit crazy to understand and take in.
Plane hit the World Trade Center. Then it got stuck in the building. When I was falling, I was still alive, and then all the rubber hit me. I didn't feel anything because I died.
So there's not a lot to show from this kiddo, but he was born into a family and grew up believing that he fell from one of the towers and died. And he believed he had a whole different family. Crazy stuff. And this is just one example of many, many different examples of people supposedly remembering stuff that they just shouldn't be remembering, right? Doesn't explain itself. And so for anyone that's on the fence with the UFO, UAP topic, you've really got to look at the evidence here on Earth. Stuff that we can't explain that is happening, that isn't tangible objects that we're trying to capture and record. These are recorded, documented cases where they've received medical treatment over a long period of time, where they've got evidence of their life before and after. And just because medical professionals put a name on something does not mean that they fully understand what is going on. And that's the whole point of today's video, guys. It's all about opening your mind to what could be and maybe delving in and doing some more research as to what is. Because if you look at really what is, these cases are real. UFOs are real. Remote viewing is real. We are not alone. That's real. How many species are there? Well, there's not going to be one. There's going to be more than one. That's real. So reality is going to hit us, guys. All I can say is, if you lose a loved one, keep that in mind. There is life before and after life, and it's just a case of changing that cycle round so that we all remember what the hell's been going on. And I think that's coming up real soon. I really do think disclosure is around the corner, and that has potential to happen. So guys, with that, I hope you enjoyed it. Food for thought at the very least, right? Let me know in the comments about the merchandise. If you've got any ideas, if you'd like to see something on a t-shirt or on some trousers or some combats, let me know in the comments. I'm going to do my best to deliver what I can. Keep recording the skies as well, guys. Your evidence is fantastic. Honestly, keep sending it in. I am receiving it. I am looking at it all. I am still only going to show the most compelling, the best of the best, guys, because we need to convince the public. Disclosure is on the way. People are going to be searching for these videos, and we need to give them something educational, something to show them tangible, something for them to wake up and go, you know what, that is what it is. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Take care. All the best, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.